As the gentle dawn breaks with mist still cradling the river, have you ever paused to wonder, after all these years of giving, what's left for me? Picture yourself sitting on an old wooden chair, gazing at a familiar garden where leaves drift softly in the breeze. Each leaf carries a memory, a piece of the days you poured your heart into loving, sacrificing, and building for those around you. Yet now, as life's rhythm slows, a quiet question stirs within. Can I find true peace, not from the world out there, but from deep within? Today with Wisdom Quiet, we embark on a journey, not to chase grand answers, but to uncover a simple secret passed down by ancient Zen masters. True freedom begins when you dare to let go and choose yourself. So, sit back, take a deep breath, and let your heart settle. This journey is for you, a path of stillness, healing, and rediscovering the light within your soul. Part 1. The Emptiness Within. When the morning sun filters through the trees, have you ever sat alone and felt a quiet void in your heart? It's as if, after decades of devotion to family, friends, and countless responsibilities, you suddenly face a question. I've given everything, but what's left for me? This is the emptiness many feel in their later years, when life slows and the roles that once defined us begin to fade. In Buddhism, Zen masters teach that all things are impermanent, like ripples on a lake that come and go. As we cross the threshold of 55 or 60, the roles that shaped us, parent, provider, companion, seem less distinct. Children grow up, careers recede, and the world spins faster, leaving us with a lingering question. What's my purpose now? What am I living for? Let me share the story of Thomas, a retired carpenter from suburban Chicago. For years, Thomas worked tirelessly, building sturdy homes and raising 3 children. Every nail he drove, every roof he raised was an act of love for his family. But after retirement, his house grew silent. Visits from his children became rare, and long days passed with only an old armchair by the window. One afternoon, watching birds soar across a gray sky, Thomas felt a deep emptiness. He wondered, I've lived for others, but now what do I live for? This feeling, known in Buddhism as dukkha, the subtle suffering of clinging to the past, is not an end, but an invitation. It's a chance to turn inward. One day, a friend invited Thomas to a meditation session at a nearby park. Skeptical at first, meditation, is that for me? He went anyway. Sitting under a tree, listening to his breath and the rustle of leaves, Thomas felt an unfamiliar peace. Each breath reminded him he was still here, still capable of finding joy in simple things. He began carving small wooden figures, a hobby he'd abandoned in youth. Each stroke of the knife brought him closer to himself, filling the void with presence. The small lesson from Thomas's story is this: the emptiness within isn't something to fear, but a doorway to new possibilities. Today, try spending 3 minutes in stillness, eyes closed, asking yourself, what makes me feel alive? What do I want to nurture in this chapter of my life? Write your answer on a slip of paper and keep it where you can see it daily. It will be a guiding light for your journey. But to truly fill that emptiness, we must look deeper at something Buddhism has long pointed out: expectations. Often our pain comes not from what we've given, but from what we expect in return. Is there a way to let go of those expectations and find true freedom? Join Wisdom Quiet as we explore this in the next part, where we dive into the illusion of reciprocity, a secret that will transform how you view love and devotion. Part 2, the illusion of reciprocity. Imagine standing by a river, watching shimmering ripples glide away. Every drop you offer, every sacrifice, every act of love, you hope will return as a wave of gratitude, a hug, or simply presence. But sometimes the river flows its own way, and what you expect doesn't come back as you imagined. In Buddhism, this is called the illusion of reciprocity, the belief that our love and devotion will always be returned in kind. Yet this expectation, however natural, is often the root of our pain. Buddhism teaches that all things are impermanent, like leaves that fall and never return to the branch. We spend our lives loving, caring, and sacrificing, trusting that those around us will respond with equal appreciation. But life doesn't always follow the rules of fairness we create. Children grow busy with their own worlds. Friends drift apart in the rush of life. And sometimes what we give seems to vanish, leaving a quiet ache in our hearts. Let me tell you about Margaret, a mother who raised 2 children in a small Ohio town. She worked double shifts, saved every penny for their college, and cheered at every game or recital. Margaret believed her love would be reciprocated, that one day her children would spend time with her as she had for them. But as they grew, they moved to distant cities, consumed by work and families of their own. Calls dwindled. Visits became unfulfilled promises. One evening, alone in her familiar kitchen, Margaret's heart felt heavy. She wondered, why doesn't the love I gave come back to me? Margaret's story is not uncommon. In Buddhism, her pain stems from clinging to expectations that love must be returned as we envision. But Zen masters teach that true love is given freely, like the sun shining without expecting thanks. When Margaret began exploring mindfulness, she tried something new. She wrote down her expectations, wanting frequent calls, monthly visits, and then gently let them go. She called her children not to seek a response, but to simply say she loved them. Slowly, she found peace in giving without binding her heart to what she'd receive. The small lesson from Margaret's story is this: expectations are invisible threads that tether our joy. Today, take 5 minutes to write down one expectation you're holding, perhaps from your children, friends, or even yourself. Then ask, can I love and give without needing this in return? Place the paper in a box as a symbol of letting go. You'll feel a wondrous lightness in your soul. But letting go of expectations doesn't mean abandoning love or relationships. It leads us to a deeper question. How do we reclaim ourselves, the energy we've given so freely? Join Wisdom Quiet in the next part, where we explore reclaiming your energy, a journey to nourish your heart and soul. Part 3, Reclaiming Your Energy. As the afternoon sun slips through your window, have you ever felt your energy like a candle burned nearly to its end, flickering after years of giving? You've spent a lifetime caring for family, building a career, and shouldering countless duties. But now, in the twilight of life, Buddhism offers a simple truth. To keep shining, you must reclaim your own energy. Not out of selfishness, but out of wisdom, because you deserve to be nurtured, to live fully in each moment. In Buddhism, reclaiming energy is called samadhi, a state of deep focus where you reconnect with your inner strength. After years of giving, we often forget how to care for ourselves. But your later years aren't a time to chase approval or wait for others to fill you up. They're a time to turn inward, rediscover simple joys, and love yourself as you've loved others. Reclaiming your energy means allowing yourself to live for you. Let me share the story of Clara, a retired homemaker from rural Vermont. For 50 years, Clara was her family's anchor, cooking warm meals, raising 3 children, and being the friend everyone turned to. But when her children left home and her husband passed away, Clara felt a part of herself fade. Days stretched on in a quiet house, and she wondered, what can I do for myself? One morning, Clara decided to try something new. She joined a mindfulness meditation class at the local library. At first, it was just a distraction, but each moment of sitting still, breathing deeply, brought her energy back. Clara also started gardening, planting beds of hydrangeas she'd loved since youth. Each blooming flower reminded her she could still create beauty, even at 68. She began journaling, capturing thoughts and dreams she'd set aside. Through these small acts, Clara found joy that didn't depend on anyone else. Clara's story shows that reclaiming energy doesn't require grand changes. It can start with a brief meditation, a garden plot, or a few lines in a journal. Buddhism teaches that every act of self-care honors the precious gift of life you still hold. The small lesson from Clara is this: today, spend 10 minutes doing something just for you. Maybe it's meditating, breathing deeply, imagining you're rekindling your inner flame. Or try planting a small pot, writing about a favorite memory, or sitting on the porch, listening to birds. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? Do it, even once. You'll be amazed as your energy returns, like a stream trickling through a parched field. But to truly nurture that energy, we must learn another art, the art of silence. In a noisy world where everyone vies to be heard, could stillness be the key to inner strength? Join Wisdom Quiet in the next part, where we explore the power of silence, a secret Zen masters have shared for centuries. Part 4, The Power of Silence. Picture yourself on an old wooden bench, watching leaves fall gently in the twilight. In that moment, as the world's noise fades, do you feel the power of silence? In a life filled with arguments, explanations, and the urge to be understood, We often forget that silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a profound source of strength. In Buddhism, this is right speech, part of the Noble Eightfold Path, where silence can be the most heartfelt way to connect, offering peace that words often can't reach. In our later years, we may feel compelled to speak up, to defend our views, clarify misunderstandings, or hold a place in others' hearts. But Zen masters teach that not every argument needs words, nor every misunderstanding needs fixing. Silence, chosen with intention, can heal invisible wounds and create space for understanding. It's not surrender, but the wisdom of knowing when to let go, allowing your heart to rest. Let me tell you about Ruth, a retired mother from suburban Atlanta. Ruth prided herself on being an open parent, always ready to talk with her children about anything. But when her youngest son, David, grew distant, their conversations often ended in tension. One evening, David accused her of being too controlling, not letting him live his own life. Ruth wanted to argue, to explain that her words came from love. Instead, she chose silence. She sat, listened to her son, and nodded gently. When he finished, she smiled and said, "I hear you." That moment of stillness was like a bridge. David felt respected, and for the first time in months, they hugged. Ruth's silence not only mended their bond, but brought her peace, as if she'd released an unseen burden. Ruth's story shows that silence is an art. In Buddhism, silence helps us listen deeply to others and ourselves. When you choose silence over argument, you give your soul room to breathe, creating space for healing. The small lesson from Ruth is this. Today, try a 1-minute silent meditation. Find a quiet corner, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and listen to the sounds around you, the wind, birds, or your breath. Don't react or think, just be. Then ask yourself, next time I want to argue, can I choose silence and listen instead? This practice will help you feel the power of silence, like a cool breeze soothing your soul. But silence doesn't just help in tense moments. It opens the door to another challenge, finding peace within, even when feeling alone in our tech-driven world. Join Wisdom Quiet in the next part, where we explore loneliness in the digital age, and how to turn those moments into opportunities for deeper connection with your soul. Part 5. Loneliness in the digital age. Imagine sitting in your familiar room, the phone screen flickering with quick messages from grandchildren. But when the screen goes dark, a quiet loneliness creeps in, like morning mist. In this digital age, where connection seems just a tap away, why do we, especially in our later years, often feel so isolated? Buddhism teaches that loneliness isn't an enemy, but an invitation to return to yourself, to find peace in your own presence. Technology, for all its wonders, can deepen loneliness. Brief video calls and hurried texts can't replace the warmth of a hug or the presence of someone by your side. At 55, 60, or beyond, we may feel left behind as children and friends immerse in the digital world, while we crave deeper connections. But in Buddhism, Zen masters remind us that loneliness is a chance to practice letting go, releasing reliance on others for fulfillment, and finding joy within your own heart. Let me share the story of Linda, a 62-year-old woman from suburban Denver. After retiring, Linda noticed her children, now with families of their own, only reached out via text or short video calls. Holidays, once filled with lively gatherings, became social media greetings. Linda felt lonely, as if she stood on the sidelines of the lives she cherished. One day, the weight became too much, and she sought change. Linda joined an online meditation group where people her age shared their spiritual journeys. During virtual sessions, she learned to breathe slowly, feel her presence, and find joy in stillness. Linda also started writing letters, not to send, but to capture her thoughts and feelings. Each letter was a conversation with herself, reconnecting her to her heart. Over time, Linda realized loneliness wasn't a fear, but a space to explore herself, to love herself more. Linda's story shows that technology, while sometimes distancing, can also be a bridge if used mindfully. More importantly, loneliness reminds us that true peace comes from within, as Buddhism teaches. The small lesson from Linda is this. Today, spend 5 minutes on an act of self-connection. Find a quiet spot, grab a piece of paper, and write a short letter to yourself about a cherished memory, something you're proud of, or a dream you hold. If you'd like, explore an online meditation group or spiritual forum to share and learn. Ask yourself, how can I turn a moment of loneliness into a chance to love myself. This practice will show you that you're never truly alone when you have yourself. But to find lasting peace in those moments, we must let go of something else, the need for others' approval. Can we live fully without the world's nod of validation? Join Wisdom Quiet in the next part, where we explore letting go of the need for approval, a step toward true freedom in your soul. Part 6, letting go of the need for approval. Picture standing before an old mirror, seeing yourself, not through others' eyes, but through your heart. All our lives, we've sought approval, a kind word from children, a nod from friends, or the world's affirming glance. But in our later years, Buddhism asks, if I no longer needed anyone's approval, how would I live? Letting go of this need isn't about rejecting love or connection. It's about finding true freedom by loving yourself. In Buddhism, real happiness comes not from being understood by others, but from understanding yourself. From youth, we're taught our worth lies in what others think, our appearance, careers, or roles. But as those roles fade, we may feel adrift, as if we must prove our value. Zen masters teach that external approval is like passing clouds, beautiful but fleeting. True peace lies in standing firm in yourself, needing no one to confirm you're enough. Let me tell you about Robert, a retired bank manager from suburban Philadelphia. Throughout his career, Robert lived for approval, handshakes from colleagues, social media posts praising his success. Even in retirement, he clung to that image, sharing photos of trips or his children's achievements, awaiting likes and comments. But one day when a post went unnoticed, he felt empty. Who am I if no one cares? He wondered. Through a friend, Robert discovered mindfulness and tried something new. He turned off his phone and sat quietly in his garden, feeling his breath and hearing birds. He began writing down what he valued in himself: patience, generosity, moments he overcame hardship. Slowly, Robert realized he didn't need social media or anyone's nod to feel whole. He started living for himself, tending a small herb garden and savoring quiet mornings, free from the need for validation. Robert's story reminds us that letting go of approval is a liberating journey. In a digital age where worth is measured by likes and comments, choosing to live authentically is a courageous act rooted in Buddhist wisdom. The small lesson from Robert is this: today, take 5 minutes to write down 3 things you love about yourself. Not what you've done for others, but what makes you proud of who you are. Maybe it's your kindness, resilience, or a smile you share. Then ask, if no one knew these things, would I still cherish myself? Keep the paper where you can see it, a reminder that you are enough. This practice will help you feel the freedom of living without the world's approval. But to live this freedom fully, we can draw from the timeless wisdom of Zen masters who found peace in simplicity and stillness. Could one of their sayings light your path? Join Wisdom Quiet in the next part, where we listen to the wisdom of Zen masters, pearls of insight guiding us to serenity. Part 7, the wisdom of Zen masters. Imagine sitting beneath an ancient tree, sunlight filtering through its leaves, a cool breeze brushing your cheek. In that quiet moment, have you ever wondered, could a simple phrase illuminate an entire life's path? In Buddhism, Zen masters use humble yet profound teachings to guide us through life's storms, helping us find serenity within ourselves. Today, we'll listen to a gem of wisdom from Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, revealing that peace is never far, it's here, in every breath. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out." This teaching, seemingly simple, holds a deep truth. When we are fully present in each moment, we find peace, no matter the world around us. In our later years, as worries fade, this reminds us that happiness isn't in what we achieve or what others bring, but in connecting with ourselves, right here, right now. Your breath is a constant companion, always ready to guide you back to inner stillness. Let me share the story of Helen, a 67-year-old woman from suburban Portland. After losing her beloved husband, Helen felt life had lost its color. Days dragged on in a silent house, and she often sat by the window, lost in memories. One day, she attended a mindfulness talk at her community center, where she heard Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching. At first, she thought, just breathing? How could that change anything? But she gave it a try. Each morning, Helen spent 5 minutes sitting quietly, focusing on her breath, repeating, "Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Slowly, she felt life flowing within her again. Helen began applying this practice daily while watering plants, walking, or writing letters to her grandchildren. Each breath reminded her she was still here, still able to find joy in simple things. Helen's story shows that a Zen master's teaching is more than words. It's a key to unlocking peace. In Buddhism, presence is the greatest gift we can give ourselves, especially when old roles fade and we seek new meaning. The small lesson from Helen is this. Today, spend 5 minutes practicing mindful breathing. Find a quiet spot, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. As you inhale, think, I know I am breathing in. As you exhale, think, I know I am breathing out. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back. Then ask, what moment today can I live fully with my breath? This practice will bring you peace, like a river flowing gently through your soul. But these teachings go beyond breath. They lead us to a greater journey, choosing ourselves, loving ourselves, and living fully with an open heart. Join Wisdom Quiet in our final part, where we reflect on what we've learned and commit to a life of serenity. Picture standing on a quiet path, soft sunlight scattering gold through the leaves, each step a reminder that your journey continues. Today, with Wisdom Quiet, we've walked through the twists of the soul, from the emptiness within, unfulfilled expectations, to reclaiming energy, finding strength in silence, overcoming digital age loneliness, and letting go of approval. All these point to a simple Buddhist truth. True happiness begins when you choose yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of love and respect for who you've become. Throughout this journey, we've learned that our later years aren't an end point, but a chance to live more fully, to nurture your soul like a garden. Every moment you spend breathing, listening, writing your thoughts, or tending a small plant is a seed of peace you plant for yourself. Buddhism reminds us you don't need to wait for miracles from outside. The miracle is within you, in every breath, every choice to embrace serenity. Let me tell you about William, a retired watchmaker from suburban Minneapolis. After watching a mindfulness video, William decided to change how he lived each day. Instead of waiting for calls from grandchildren or approval from friends, he began each morning with 5 minutes of meditation, listening to his breath and feeling life within him. He also planted a row of sunflowers in his yard, each bloom a reminder he was living for himself. William shared that, for the first time in years, his heart felt light, as if he'd rediscovered himself. He wrote in a video's comments, "I've learned peace doesn't come from others, but from choosing to love myself every day." William's story proves that small changes can bring great light. You don't need to change the world, just how you see it, through the lens of compassion and presence. Buddhism teaches that every moment lived fully is a gift, not just for you, but for those around you. The small lesson from today's journey is this. This week, choose one small act to care for yourself. Maybe it's 5 minutes of daily breathing meditation, writing a journal entry about something you're grateful for, or planting a pot to remind you of life's growth. Ask yourself, today, how can I love myself a little more? Share that moment with us in the comments, a story, a feeling, or just a line about when you felt at peace. The Wisdom Quiet community is where we sow seeds of serenity together, and your story might light the way for someone else. This journey doesn't end here. If today's insights touched your heart, please subscribe to Wisdom Quiet to continue exploring the secrets of stillness and happiness with us. Leave a small mark by sharing this video with a friend so they too can find their inner light. Thank you for being here, walking this path with us. Keep nurturing your heart. You deserve that peace. Until our next journey, when we return to the true home within your soul.